Over the past several years, we've shown you a lot of information about our different departments and have told you what they do, have shown you some video about large construction and maintenance projects, and we have even shared what some may think of as ancient history. This year, we thought we'd take several minutes to show you a few things that happen out in the field that people rarely get to see firsthand, but they are things we do each and every year to ensure the delivery of safe, reliable, low-cost power. This year, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, instead of watching this video in a large meeting room with hundreds of REC members, we may be viewing this at home or in a small group in order to maintain our social distancing. But regardless of how we watch this video, we are emphasizing a few of the ways that we work for you.
I first fell in love with aviation as a kid. I was blessed to grow up on a large ranch that my dad managed. And every spring, we'd have a crop duster come and spray for us. I was just always fascinated with watching him, and so I'd con Dad into parking us up on a hill somewhere where we could watch him spray for as long as time would permit until we had to go do something else and be productive. I told myself then that if I ever could, I wanted to be that person sitting in the seat, getting to do that, hopefully making some young person's day. And so time went on. You go throughout high school and you kind of, forget your dreams and kind of had entertained the idea of going to school as an engineer and different things. And as a senior, I visited with that fellow that used to spray with us, and he invited me to come take a ride with him one morning. So, like any studious senior, I decided I'd cut class and go for a plane ride that morning. But he got me a seat and kind of introduced me into the business and kind of showed me the ropes and got me started. And lo and behold, he also had a business patrolling power lines.
Sho-Me is a member of the North American Transmission Forum. These companies that are part of the forum come together and talk about best practices within the industry. And one thing that they recommend is an aerial inspection of our transmission lines either 1 or 2 times a year.
Today we'll be doing a low-level aerial patrol of a transmission line. We'll be starting at Lebanon, Missouri, and we'll be starting just south of the airport at a sub called Human. And we'll be departing from that sub northbound, going up to Camdenton. And then from Camdenton, we'll be going towards the east, towards a sub called Montreal, and then north from there to Brumley. And then we will skip over and start at Iberia and go there to Richland, to Statland, and then we'll end up back here north of Lebanon at the Lebanon 1 sub.
Some lines are now over 65 years old on the system. So the maintenance practices and the inspection practices that we have become very critical for reliable operation of these lines.
Today we'll be looking for any kind of structural or vegetation discrepancies that we can find. And being a winter patrol, we won't have too many vegetation discrepancies to note, but there will be quite a few structural discrepancies that we can take note of.
During the aerial patrols, we can find issues with the transmission lines such as broken guy wires, danger trees that may be impairing the reliable operation of the line, broken cross arms, rotten cross arms.
Just anything that we can visually detect that we think the power company would like to know about. And on these corner structures as you go by, you'll kind of want to look and make sure all those guy wires are still in place and there's nothing slack or broken. And at first it looks like it would be hard to see at the speed you're going, but once you get used to it, you know, you can pretty well tell if a wire's tight or if it's slack or if it's hanging straight down by the pole, that would be it's broken. Structure 53, cross arm rot. Typically patrol about 100 miles an hour, give or take a little bit. You know, if you have a tailwind, your ground speed will be a tick faster. If you have a headwind, it'll be a tick slower. And, you know, if you find a discrepancy or something that catches your eye that you need to go back and circle around and look at, you can slow it down relatively slow so you can have a little bit longer time to look at it. For every line that we patrol, we have an associated sheet that goes with that line that has the substation that it starts at and ends at, and a lot of times the number at that substation it starts at, that way you kind of know what number you're starting at. And it has discrepancies on here as like vegetation or if it's structural issues, if it's a split or broke cross arm, if your X-brace is loose or broken, and things like that. So if you have one of those discrepancies, you write it in that associated column.
The aerial inspection surprisingly only takes the pilot about 3 days to perform over the entire Sho-Me system. This is a very cost-effective way to get the most recent information and condition on our line and right-of-ways. It is a very effective way for Sho-Me to inspect our transmission line facilities. Provides valuable data and helps keep our system reliable at the lowest possible cost.
So truly a blessing and extremely humbling how the Lord has taken what I desired and my passions and turned it into a career that I thoroughly enjoy and am blessed to get to do every day.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands, strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand.
So Jeff Boland got the DJ analysis on our oil test back. We have confirmed high gas in the LTC on the transformer at Montreal. So they're sending us up here today to bring the mobile to install for tomorrow so we can get that transformer out of service and figure out what the issue is. The gas is high in the LTC compartment. It's not anything out of the norm, but with this one, LTC is actually out of service and it's being ran by regulators, so we shouldn't have many high gases in that compartment at all.
At Sho-Me Power, we have 8 different mobile substations, and they're in a variety of voltages and capacities. They allow us to respond in emergencies and get power back on quicker than we could otherwise. Say if we had a transformer failure, it's a lot quicker to put in a mobile substation than it is to try to put in another transformer.
Yeah, we're on number 2. Now the most important thing we're going to do is ground this thing. Is that other one gonna...
Or if we need to do maintenance on a transformer, we can't safely do maintenance on a lot of things without de-energizing the transformer. With the mobile substation, we're able to go in and we can reroute power through the mobile instead of through the transformer, de-energize it. Our guys can work on it safely. And the members never even know that we put it in. They won't see a blink or any sort of power interruption when we use the mobile.
Well, that's done now. We'll be ready for tomorrow.
We're going to be installing Mobile 108. We'll start by racking out the front of the mobile, and then we'll get it all racked out. Before we hook our high side jumpers up, we'll go ahead and hook the cables up on the back side and kind of get that all lined out.
Thanks, sir.
These are our fuses, 69 kV fuses. And Cody's getting ready to install one right now.
Oh yeah.
Mobile substations are expensive. They're a pricey piece of equipment, but they're very necessary for us to be able to do our work safely and minimize any sort of inconvenience to our members.
Right there at the end, you got slammed.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Good job.
Yep, let's lock and hold that thing open. Opie?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, this is Joel. Opie, we're ready to hook up the high side jumpers on Mobile 108. And I was wondering about getting a hotline permit. They're gonna hook up the far one first.
The automatic recloser is disabled on 1371.
Move that phase way over here.
We have to set the CT ratio on those CTs on the mobile to match the substation as well.
Yeah, and whenever we're hooking our cables up, we go red, white, and blue. So red is A, white's B, and C's blue. Yeah, we've got our clearance order released and our grounds removed, mid equipment in the clear. Now we're going to energize the high side of the mobile, and then we'll have dispatch test the controls of the low volt main. We'll close in over there, then we'll phase in above the low volt main of the sub.
Montreal was a great example. They had done a gas test and noted that they had high gas in the tap changer. It turned out that there was a minor issue with some connections in there, and they were able to repair those. And that's a very good thing. In that case, we were able to fix a minor issue before it became a major issue or we had a catastrophic failure. This allows us to do work in a safe manner. It allows us to respond in a timely manner in emergencies, and it allows us to do routine maintenance and then put everything back online. And our members never experienced any sort of outage or any sort of blink or interruption in service.
Insulator broke on pole number 28, and he said that slide-up breaker at Kaufman keeps tripping, and that is why a big part of their town is out, because that line is out.
Providing reliable electric power in the Midwest can be a tough job sometimes. Between ice storms, floods, and spring storms, we're constantly at the mercy of Mother Nature. Nothing exemplifies that any more than the storms that rolled through on May 4th.
Storms are inevitable. It's not a matter of if, but when they will hit. The real question is how much destruction it'll cause and how quickly can we repair the damage.
We'd watched those storms roll in. We didn't think they were going to be anything major, but as they hit our system, they intensified, and we were quickly in the middle of some major outages and major operations on our system.
90-mile-an-hour straight line winds in some areas, and a lot of damage done to several different lines, but the worst one probably was line 526. It runs from Peaburg to Brush Creek.
Through our SCADA system, we receive line fault miles, which is the single greatest tool that they've gave us to work with over the last 20 years. By using those line mileage faults, we were able to pinpoint pretty much the exact location of the fault, which quickly allowed us to isolate the section and get Brush Creek back up.
We had a total of 9 structures that were taken out, and then we had several other structures that were leaning.
But the underlying condition was that the forecast was for more severe storms to come through that night. We were sitting there with Brush Creek fed radially out of Lebanon number 1, so if Lebanon number 1 line would have taken damage, Brush Creek could have been out for a significant amount of time. That's not something we like to hear. We don't like to put ourselves in positions where that's even possible. But fortunately, those storms never materialized. All we got that night was a little bit of rain, and the line crew had it back up in a couple of days, and everything was back to normal.
It's really neat to watch these guys work together. You know, we continually want to strive to be the best we can be and get things taken care of quickly. And it's a blessing to work with these guys. They all have one common goal in mind, and that's to provide safe, reliable, low-cost power to our members.
So in a typical day, we'll patrol about 100 structures. If you have to stop and climb and inspect just 20 or 30, that slows the process down. That's a lot of extra climbing, and because of the drones now, we're not having to do that at all.
So we've been utilizing the drones for about a year now, and they've really proved to be invaluable. We patrol these lines every year from the ground in these machines like this. And you know, you can only see the front, the back, and the sides. You can never see the top. The airplanes fly them, but you know, when they're traveling at 100 miles an hour, what they can see is pretty limited. With these drones, we're able to see the tops of the poles, the tops of the arms in a lot greater detail. We can check the bells for flashovers. So today we're going to be going out to a 161 line. We'll be flying a few structures and see if we find anything. So with this camera we have on this new drone, we have 30 times zoom. And so, back out a little here. And look at the integrity of this crossarm as we scroll across. There is obvious signs of rot on the top side of the crossarm. Look at there. This is a prime example of something you cannot see from the ground, something that the pilot could very likely miss going 100 miles an hour. And so we take pictures of that, document it, report it, and fix it.
The life expectancy of the wood is, I think, around 40 years. This particular line is about 65 to 70 years old, so it has exceeded its life expectancy, and it's still holding up pretty good, but every once in a while we get some bad stuff. With the drone, we can see exactly what's going on with it. We have found bad tops on poles, we found rotten arms, we found bolts backing out. We found a lot of stuff. Had we not discovered it, could have been a lot of major problems for us. So just like today, we discovered a rotten arm, and we are going to come change it sometime this spring.
I hope this year's video has achieved our two primary goals of education and entertainment. We know your time is valuable, and there are many ways to use that time. So a big thank you for allowing us the opportunity to try and emphasize how we work for you. Most of us have been in this business for more than just a few years, and I promise you that I have never been through a time like what we have been experiencing with the battle against COVID-19. And I'm guessing the same applies to all of you. We are proud of the way that all of our team has adapted to the many changes imposed on us by a situation that is not of our own making. The new strategies used to serve you in 2020 will not be the same as in prior years. But regardless of what we do or how we do it, we will remain laser focused on our primary principles of how and why we work for you. Thank you, and be safe.